And now back to the angle grinder to give our knife some shape. There, that's got the overall shape. Just need to clean it up a bit to make it safer to work with because there's a few burrs on it. And then the bevel that will form the actual blade, I will start with the angle grinder because there's a lot of metal to take off and it will make it a lot easier than just filing it all. Now that's taken most of the metal off, save us quite a lot of time and effort with the file. This is a simple jig that I made to help file the blade at the right angle, that being approximately 22 degrees. As you can see, it's just a vise on a piece of plywood with a block of wood at the back at the same level as the top of the jaws of the vise. And then two little holders that I've made, just some 1/2 inch round bar and some 1/4 inch flat bar that hold the file and the knife blade in place. With this jig we can file the bevel flat and at the right angle. Now we've finished with the grinder, we just need to clean it up a bit with the file and get a bit more shape. When filing the blade, the line of the file in relation to the blade is quite important. When you file in the straight section, it's not too much of a problem to go at an arc. But when you get towards the nose, the angle can change with this jig if you don't keep the handle of the file holder right up against the right hand side so that it's still square onto the blade. That way this angle will change as you come along anyway, but at least it will minimise it by keeping the handle of the file over here. because we're using a file which is quite narrow in that direction, there's a tendency to belly that way. So use the sliding bevel again just to check, see how flat it is, and any high spots, take those out. Bearing in mind that you need to take the same amount of metal off each side of the blade, once you've got halfway down on this side and it's nice and neat, obviously flip it over and do the same to the other side. It's very likely that you're going to have to swap between sides in order to get the job done right. Now, to get the angle back when you go back to a side you've already done, or at least started, get the whole thing in the jig. It's a bit of a juggling act. Just nip it up so you can still manipulate it, and feel between your thumb and finger, holding the file down to the blade, and rock the knife blade back and forth until you can feel that the file is square on to the blade. Tighten up the vise, check it visually, see if there's any light visible from the other side, and then tighten it up. And a couple of gentle strokes, and look to see where the scratch marks are to make sure that they're not either towards the cutting edge or towards the back edge. And if you've got it right, carry on. If not, just keep tweaking it backwards and forwards until you get it right. That's the filing done. The next thing to do is to drill 3 holes for the rivets that will hold the handle on. We'll drill them now before we harden and temper the blade, just in case the process hardens where the first rivet will go. Before I harden and temper the blade, I want to hone it on the oil stone to get it as sharp as I possibly can. I'm going to use a carborundum stone, a double-sided one, obviously start on the coarse side and then finish off on the fine, getting rid of all the scratches left by the file. And one of the great things about this style of knife, with it having such a large surface area on the bevel, it allows you to balance it nice and easily on the stone and keep it flat. This helps you get a really sharp edge on the blade.